Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 20, Text 21. Mata Bhastra Pituhu Putro Mata Bhastra Pitu Putro Yena Jataha Sa Eva Saha Yena Jata Sa Eva Saha Bharasva Putram Dushmanta Bharasva Putram Dushmanta Ma Avamamstaha Shakuntalam Mavamamsta Mavamamsta Shakuntalam Mata Bastra Pitu Putro Yena Jata Sa Eva Saha Bharasva Putram Dushmanta Mavamamsta Shakuntalam Mata Bastra Pitu Putro Yena Jata Sa Eva Saha Bharasva Putram Dushmanta Mavamamsta Shakuntalam. Mata, the mother. Bastra, just like the skin of a bellows containing air. Pituhu, of the father. Putraha, the son. Yena, by whom. Jataha, one is born. Putraha, sorry. Saha, the father. Eva, indeed. Saha, the son. Bharasva, just maintain. Putram, your son. Dushmanta, O Maharaja Dushmanta. Ma, do not. Avamamstaha, insult. Shakuntalam, Shakuntala. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaya Charanaramvinda, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The voice said, O Maharaja Dushmanta, a son actually belongs to his father, whereas the mother is only a container, like the skin of a bellows. According to Vedic injunctions, the father is born as the son. Therefore, maintain your son and do not insult Shakuntala. Can you repeat the translation? The voice said, O Maharaja Dushmanta, a son actually belongs to his father, whereas the mother is only a container, like the skin of a bellows. According to Vedic injunctions, the, the father is born as the son. Therefore, maintain your own son and do not insult Shakuntala. Purport. According to the Vedic injunction, Atma Vai Putra Namasi, the father becomes the son. The mother is simply like a storekeeper, because the seed of the child is placed in her womb, but it is the father who is responsible for maintaining the son. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is the seed-giving father of all living entities. Aham bija pradapita, and therefore He is responsible for maintaining them. This is also confirmed in the Vedas. Eko bahunam yo vididati kaman. Although God is one, He maintains all living entities with their necessities of life. The living entities in different forms are sons of the Lord, and therefore the Father, the Supreme Lord, supplies them food according to their different bodies. The small ant is supplied a grain of sugar, and the elephant is supplied tons of food, but everyone is able to eat. Therefore, there is no question of overpopulation. Because the Father, Krishna, is fully opulent, there is no scarcity of food. And because there is no scarcity, the propaganda of overpopulation is only a myth. Actually, one suffers for want of food when material nature, under the order of the Father, refuses to supply him food. It is the living entity's position that determines whether food will be supplied or not. When a diseased person is forbidden to eat, this does not mean that there is scarcity of food. Rather, the diseased person requires the treatment of not being supplied with food. In Bhagavad Gita 7.10, the Lord also says, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. I am the seed of all living entities. A particular type of seed is sown within the earth, and then a particular type of tree or plant comes out. The mother resembles the earth, and when a particular type of seed is sown by the father, a particular type of body takes birth. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport and translation to Canto 9, Chapter 20, Text 21 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. voice in the sky. And what was that voice? That voice declared, Aha, that the son whom Mother Shakuntala brought in front of Dushmanta is certainly the king's own son. Why did the voice declare this? Because Maharaja Dushmanta denied that the son of Shakuntala is his own son. Why? Why? That was discussed in the earlier verse. The purport Srila Prabhupada explains. Because Shakuntala and her son were not belonging to the place where Maharaja Dushmanta was ruling. They were outside his kingdom, and therefore the people of his kingdom were not aware of the identity of Shakuntala and her son. Therefore, initially Maharaja Dushmanta denied, but when the Ashariravani declared that certainly this son is yours, O king, and this voice was heard by everyone present. After that, Maharaja Dushmanta accepted both Shakuntala and her son Bharata. And eventually he handed over the kingdom to Bharata, and Maharaja Dushmanta left for uh, perfecting his life in self-realization. Jai Krishna Balaram Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So all these events happened when Maharaja Dushmanta once went for hunting, and he saw Shakuntala and he became attracted to her, and she was also interested in marrying him, and therefore by uh, a formal Vedic procedure the marriage was solemnized, consummated, and then Maharaja Dushmanta sowed the seed in Shakuntala's womb, and then he left back to his kingdom, leaving her in the forest. And it was Kanva Muni who actually gave shelter to Shakuntala and brought her up and her child. When Maharaja Dushmanta laid the seed in Shakuntala's womb, she gave birth to a very powerful son, as good as the father, Maharaja Dushmanta. And that was King Bharata. He was very powerful, as discussed earlier, that he would, even as a small boy, he was so powerful that he would capture a lion and play with it. See, when we see lion, we run away. But he would voluntarily go behind a lion and capture it and play with it. Kridati sma sa bhalakaha. Badva mriga indram tarasa. It says Badva tarasa. By force he would capture the lion. See, lion would capture us by force, but here Maharaja Dushmanta would capture the lion by force. Badva tarasa. Tarasa means by force. Badva means to capture. Mriga indram, the king of the animal kingdom. Mriga Indra. Indra means the king actually. Mriga means uh, animal. So Mrigendra means the king of the animals, that is lion. So Badhva Mrigendram Tarasa Kridati Sma Sa Balakaha. Even as a young boy, he would capture and play with it. So that much powerful he was. So Shakuntala and her son, or actually their son, Bharata was brought up by Kanva Muni because Maharaja Dushmanta left immediately after placing his semen in Shakuntala's womb. Then Shakuntala brings the child to Dushmanta and he denies as discussed. Therefore, the need for Ashariravani. But it's interesting to note, it is described by Prabhupada, even though Maharaja Dushmanta denied, now how will Shakuntala ever prove that she is his wife and the child born was actually their own child? How will she ever prove? Who in the world ever knows about this truth? Therefore, this Ashariravani spoke and declared and confirmed their relationship. And Prabhupada explains that because he was so chaste that an omen from the sky declared the truth so that others could hear. So because of her chastity, there was an omen from the sky. That good omen was the Ashariravani. Ashariravani meaning nobody could see who was speaking. Unembodied. Asharirini. Unembodied. So because of her chastity, uh, she was helped. She was saved actually. So that voice said to Maharaja Dushmanta, that is the discussion in today's verse. Mata Bastra Pitu Putraha. So this voice is telling Maharaja Dushmanta, O Dushmanta, O Maharaja, Mata Bastra, the mother is only a container for giving the body. But the actual source of life comes from the father. The father actually places the semen in the mother's womb, and then the mother only develops that body. That's all. So Pitu Putro, a son actually belongs to his father, Pitu Putra. Hmm? Whereas the mother is only a container, like the skin of a bellow. So according to Vedic injunction, further the voice continued to say, Yena jata sa eva saha. The father is born as the son. Yena jataha sa eva saha. From whom one is born, he is the father, and the father is again reborn as the son, according to the Vedic injunctions. The father is reborn as the son. Yena jata sa eva saha. And therefore, Bharasva Putram Dushmanta. You should maintain your son. It is the responsibility of the father to maintain the son. Bharasva means to maintain. Putram, your son. So you have to maintain your son. If you disclaim this son, then who will take care of this son? He is your son. Therefore, you are responsible to maintain, not somebody else. So please maintain your son. And do not avamamsta shakuntalam. Do not insult Shakuntala in this way by denying your child as your child. It's an insult to Shakuntala, the mother. Then whose son is? If it's not your son, then whose son is? Is he an illegitimate son? Is he an illicit son born from illicit relationship? And that will create a permanent, serious mark in Shakuntala's character when she's so chaste. And that is a very serious thing to do. Hmm? Because in Vedic life, this illicit relationship is completely condemned. So it is called Varna Sankara. We do not know who's whose son, who's whose daughter, who's the mother, who's the father is not known. So that's called Varna Sankara population. So that leads to a lot of complications. The whole society is today suffering because of this Varna Sankara population, because of illicit connections, illegitimate relationships. There's no chastity of the woman, nor there is responsible men in the society. So all these things are leading to big confusion and unrest in society. So therefore, marriage is a very important consideration. Either one remains as a brahmachari, or one should properly get married and lead a proper married life as per the Vedic directions and give birth to Krishna conscious children who can take part in Vedic culture, Vedic life, Vedic way of life, who will abide by the Vedic direction, Vedic injunctions. Today we can see the population, they're all more or less atheistic, you see, nor and they're not interested in following Vedic way of life because of the Varna Sankara roots. Now they also can't be blamed because the son imbibes the quality of the father. That's what is said here. Yena jatasa eva saha. The father is reborn as the son. So because the parents are not undergoing any Vedic rituals, not following the Vedic standards and giving birth, even their union, especially in the modern days, even the union is not very pure, their combination is not very pure, they're not purifying their relationship. Therefore, uh, the children who come out from such parents are also not able to appreciate Vedic culture, Vedic life. So they also can't do anything. It's a yoni. However, the yoni is, it is going to be like that. We cannot change. Just like we say, if suppose you sow a mango seed in the earth, mango plant only will grow. Mango tree only will come, and the mango fruit only will come. How will something else come? How will some other fruit come? Or some vegetable will come? No. So whatever seed you sow, that only is going to come. Similarly, whatever seed the father places in the mother's womb, that child will develop like that only. So therefore, the consciousness of the father while placing the semen is so important. While placing the semen in the mother's womb is so important. What is his consciousness? If it is pure, if he is a Vedic follower, if he is God conscious being himself, then the child also will be God conscious. If he is a good charactered person, the child also will be of good character. So it's a very scientific process. It is not by chance that the children become something. It is not by chance. So, uh, so for today, the population, they're not interested in spiritual life, interested in God consciousness. It's because of the yoni, because of the parents. So therefore, this illicit relationship or illicit connection is very much condemned in Vedic life because it gives birth to unwanted population who will disturb the peace of the people in general and who will also disturb the spiritual advancement possibilities. Then the very purpose of creation is lost. The very purpose of their birth, the very purpose of creating this world will also be lost. Because the very purpose of creating this world and we taking birth in this world is to actually reform ourselves, a chance given to us to reform our mentality of godlessness, of atheistic nature, and become an obedient devotee of the Lord and to go back to God. So that purpose is lost by the Varna Sankara population. And especially for a woman, uh, her chastity, her reputation is extremely important, and the Vedic culture recognizes this and gives utmost importance to a woman's chastity and gives all protection, possibility, makes all arrangements that the woman remain chaste. Therefore, there is separation between man and woman for their own chastity and dignity and respect. The moment a woman mixes with man, then she loses her dignity and respect. So that is why there is separation, and uh, uh, when she remains separate from man, especially before getting married, then she gains respect and dignity. And her shyness also is another protective element wherein it maintains her chastity. Hmm. When the moment the shyness uh, is uh, diluted, then immediately she becomes subject of uh, mockery and exploitation. And that's what we see today. Woman as a um, entity is not much respected and taken seriously. But in the Vedic culture, she is given utmost respect. Therefore, there is distance. Because when you respect someone, you keep distance. So that's why women are kept at distance. They are kept at distance not because of hatred, as interpreted by the modern man. Why are we showing hatred? Why is Vedic culture showing hatred to women? It is not hatred, it is respect. When you keep women at distance, lot of respect they gain. We also know. That's why, just like the other day also, we were hearing that we should not very intimately associate with the spiritual master. Why? Because you will lose respect. Similarly, with any superior person, even your father, at home also we have this experience. Generally, even if mother is close, father is always at distance. Uh, There are many reasons. Is one of the reasoning we are discussing today. Because uh, you will gain respect to father. Father also will gain respect. His position is like that. Otherwise, familiarity breeds contempt. Then what happens? You will not take his instructions seriously. Once there is familiarity, you will not take his instructions seriously. You will take his words lightly. Therefore, generally, superiors are treated with respect and distance so that we take their words and instructions seriously. Therefore, uh, even though we must have an intimate relationship with our superiors and the spiritual master and the Lord also, still we should keep distance, especially in the conditional state, in the neophyte state, especially. So that this familiarity breeds contempt, does not play havoc in our life. Ultimately, we will be the loser. Hmm? So similarly, woman also is kept at distance so that they're respected. Hmm? Their reputation goes high. On the other hand, today you can see there is so much of free mixing, and therefore there is a lot of adultery, and they're exploited. So for women, it is actually a very serious thing. Hmm? As far as the Vedic culture is concerned. You can even see Mother Sita. Hmm? Somebody commented on Mother Sita. But in order to prove her chastity, she entered fire and proved her chastity. Can you just imagine? So that is the reputation of a woman in the Vedic life. So therefore, it is very much insulting when Marja Dushmanta says, I don't even know who you are. And who's this boy? What does it mean then? Then who else is the father? So therefore the Asharyavani declared, "O Maharaja Dushmanta, please don't insult Shakuntala by denying this son. He is your own son. You are responsible to maintain," like that. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, according to Vedic injunction, Atmavai Putra Namasi, the father becomes the son. The mother is simply a storekeeper because the seed of the child is placed in her womb, but it is the father who is responsible to maintain the son. So in the Bhagavad Gita 14 chapter, text number 3 and 4, Krishna also describes about this point, how uh, he is the original seed giving father of everyone. As Dushmanta gave the seed of the child, similarly, the Supreme Lord Krishna gives the original seed for all living entities in different kinds of bodies. Krishna says in 14 chapter, text number 3, Mamayonir Mahad Brahma, Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham, Tasmin Garbham Dadami Aham. You see, Krishna is saying that it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings. Sambhava Sarva Bhutana, making possible. Sambhavaha Sarva Bhutan, making possible all births of all living beings. Tato Bhavati Bharata, O son of Bharata. Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma. And the total material substance is called Brahman and is the source of birth of all living beings. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, Krishna is saying. Then the Lord is saying, Sarva Yonishu Kauntaya Murtaya Sambhavantaya Tasam Brahma Mahad Yonir Aham Bija Pradapita. So Krishna is saying, all kinds of living entities in this world, Sarva Yonishu. So not only human beings, birds, beasts, animals, reptiles, every living entity, whichever body the living entity is possessing. Sarva Yonishu Kauntaya. And nothing to do with Indian, American, Australian, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Sarva Yonishu Kauntaya. Whichever body, not only human species, every other species. Murtaya Sambhavantya is made possible. Every birth in this world is made possible by me. It should be understood that all species of life are made possible by birth uh, in this material nature. Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir, in this material nature. And Aham Bija Pradapita, I am the seed giving father. So Krishna is claiming the fatherhood of all living entities in this verse. Then, even in the 7th chapter, text number 10, Krishna says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutana. That Viddhi Partha Sanatanam. This word Sanatana proper translates as original. Generally, it is translated as eternal, but proper in this verse translates it as original. So, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Viddhi Partha Sanatanam. Oh, Arjuna, son of Pritha, you should know that all existences in this world is made possible by me because I'm the original seed of all existences. Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutana. So, in the Vedic culture, it is understood that if the son is living, actually the father is present. The father has not died. That's the Vedic understanding. If the father has given birth to a son, by chance he has died. Actually, the father has not died because he has reappeared as the son. That's the Vedic understanding. We can see even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a nice instance in this regard. Hmm? When Maharaja Prataparudra, who was the king of Orissa many centuries back, in the 14th century, when he was the king of Orissa, at 14th and 15th century. So at that time, Maharaja Prataparudra wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. But because he was a king and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in the sannyasa ashram. Generally, sannyasis are forbidden to meet uh, kings and rich men because the sannyasis are supposed to be free from any materialistic association. So they should always keep themselves away from any materialistic association. And naturally, generally and naturally, a king or a rich man is supposed to be very, very materialistic. Very, very materialistic. Therefore, generally, sannyasis are expected to avoid meeting such men. And in the Vedic society in those days, a sannyasi would never meet a king very strictly. Otherwise, uh, uh, people will comment. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says uh, that in a white cloth, even if there is a small spot, it becomes very prominent because it is a white cloth, becomes very prominent. Similarly, even a small scar on a sannyasi's image is taken very seriously. Small fault will be highlighted. Just like if it is a white cloth, if you're wearing, even a small spot, it will get highlighted. Similarly, even a small mistake a sannyasi does, it will get highlighted. So Chaitanya said, therefore, I have to be very careful hmm, in my dealings with the materialistic people. Of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. There is no risk for the Lord, but still, to set the standard, he would deny meeting the king. He will not get affected, but still, to set the standard, he would not meet the king. Then the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, including Ramananda Raya, one of the greatest associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even when he requested, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not agree. Then Ramananda Raya said, actually, my lord, he is a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. What you're saying is right. Generally, a king is a materialistic person, but this king, Maharaja Prataparudra, is a great devotee. He is not a materialistic king at all. So, great devotee of Lord Jagannath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that may be true, but still, I will not be able to meet him. Then finally, because Ramananda Raya was persisting so much, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, I have one idea. You can bring Maharaja Prataparudra's son in front of me. And then this verse is quoted there that, because the son represents the father fully. Therefore, you can bring his son in front of me. I will see him. So, therefore, the arrangement was made. When the king heard this, he became very, very happy. Oh, Lord Chaitanya finally granted my wish that I meet him, meaning my son. It is as good as me meeting him. So his son comes and stands in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he wears yellow garments and comes. Immediately, it reminds him of Lord Krishna. And the moment he saw the son of Maharaja Prataparudra, Lord Chaitanya was reminded of Krishna, and he went into ecstasy, and immediately he embraced him. And then he was very, very happy. Very, very happy. Again and again, Lord Chaitanya embraced the son of Maharaja Prataparudra. And when this news reached Maharaja Prataparudra, he became extremely glad. So, like that. So, the father is the actual seed giving father for every son or daughter, and the claim is of the father. The mother only supplies the body, but the father actually gives the seed. So therefore, the son belongs to the father. The mother is only giving the body, as referred here as Bharasva, is only a container. So this is called Tanduli Vrishchika Nyaya. Just like, what is this Tanduli Vrishchika Nyaya? Because the Tanduli Vrishchika Nyaya cannot be applied in this case. Tanduli Vrishchika Nyaya says that just like in a heap of rice, sometimes we see some small snakes move around. So sometimes as children, we used to think, oh, this rice has given birth to these snakes. Actually, it is not. Actually, there was a scorpion and it has laid eggs. But it is appearing from in between the rice. Therefore, it looks like the rice has given birth to these scorpions. Actually, not. Similarly, mother material nature is impersonal. It cannot give birth to life. The original life is actually given birth to by Lord Krishna. That's why Krishna is explained in so many verses, so many ways. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatana. I am the original seed-giving father of all species. Sarva yonishiv kauntaya aham bida pradapita. Like that, many places Krishna has described. He is the original seed. Then the next point being explained here is whoever is the father is the maintainer. That is the rule. Therefore, the voice said, Maharaj Dushmanta is yours and you have to maintain. Otherwise, who else will maintain? Similarly, Prabhupada explains in the purport, because Krishna is the father, he is responsible to maintain every living entity in this world. And he is also maintained. This is also confirmed in the Upanishads. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman, nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam. So the Lord is the supreme maintainer of all living beings. Therefore, he is also called Janardana, the supreme maintainer of all living entities. He is maintaining everyone. Eka, Bahunam Yo. Eka means this, the one single supreme Lord. Bahuna, referring to all the plural number, unlimited living entities. Vidadati Kaman is fulfilling all their desires and maintaining them. Each living entity has a different requirement of food, and Krishna is supplying them mercifully across the universe and universes. Different living beings have different needs. Therefore, it is also described in Brahma Samhita. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti svasesha vasudadi vibhuti binnam. Vibhuti binnam. There are unlimited opulences, unlimited features, and arrangements in this creation of this cosmos. Varieties of planets, varieties of universes, and varieties of arrangements made by the Lord in different universes for different living entities. Not only food, stay arrangements, protection. The Lord has made a complete arrangement and everything is replete. Nothing is incomplete for the stay, protection, and food. Lot of arrangement is being made. So Prabhupada says even from an ant which eats 1 grain of sugar up to an elephant which eats tons of food, Lord has made arrangement. So there is no shortage of food. Prabhupada also gives a very important example in this regard as another proof. When the child is born, immediately there is supply of milk from the mother. But till then, there is no supply of milk from the mother or from the wife. The moment the child is born, the woman is able to supply milk because there's a need for the child. And it is automatic. Automatically it's arranged. Immediately it's arranged. The moment there is birth, food is arranged. Shelter is arranged. Protection is arranged. So there's another point Prabhupada makes. And finally, here Prabhupada says, if at all there is scarcity of food as claimed by the modern man, it is only because of a a corrective measure made by the Lord to reform the living entity. So Prabhupada giving the example, if a diseased person is denied food, it is a treatment for him. Sometimes we do fasting, not voluntarily, sometimes forced, because just like if you have overeaten, then there'll be dysentery, and the doctor will suggest don't eat for next 2 days. Take only liquids, because if you eat again there'll be problem. So therefore, denial of food is only because of a diseased condition. The person has done some overeating or some mistake. So to correct the denial, not otherwise. So it is not that when the doctor has said you should not eat food, and therefore the mother and father do not supply food at home, it is not that there is no food in the kitchen or there is no food at home. Sufficient food is there, but the child is denied for his own good. Similarly, when there is denial of food, it is not because of scarcity of food. It is because the living being or the living entity must have done some wrong act, and therefore, in order to teach him a lesson, this uh, so-called scarcity is being created. When they become godless, scarcity, there will be scarcity. And when they correct their mentality, again there will be enough supply of food grains by the Lord and material nature, Mother Earth. So these are the things we can understand from these words. Stop here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.